Good afternoon, everyone. I just came back from a camp this weekend. We went camping with our church, but as the young adults. So, firstly, I have never, like, I have never done a camp with Yusuf in this setup. It was more of an encounter type of weekend than it was a actual camp. And so this weekend, now everybody's going to share their testimonies tonight at church, and I won't be able to go because I'll be home with the boys. We don't have they've been with their babysitters this weekend, so I'm gonna be with them now tonight. So I just thought, let me come on here and maybe just share about what God has done for me this weekend. I'm gonna just start by saying that as of Feb this year, God has really turned my world upside down, and He's really done an amazing thing in my life. And I have, as long as I know, I've always been the girl who's always tried to do things the right way, always been involved at church, and always been a hashtag, or can I say, Jesus girl. Um, but I feel like my walk genuinely started, like really started as of Feb this year, when, like I said, when things were just turned like literally upside down. And so things were like, in my business environment, I've never ever been as challenged as I was business wise. And I'm not just referring to finances, I'm referring to, you know, business itself. And I'm just referring to all the factors involved. And so I got to a point where I just said to God, like, you need to show up, you need to show up in my business, because this is what you showed me to do. I didn't start this business by myself and out of my own will. I started this because you gave me a word, and you gave me a vision. And so when it became so blurry in February, and I was really close to shutting doors, and actually in Jan I was close to shutting doors, mostly Feb, the first second week in Feb. And I went through a lot of stuff in my circle where I moved around as well. Went through a lot of stuff in my business environment, sorry. And I was just literally like at a place where I was just saying to God, God, you better show up. Um, and so I started, obviously, God started ministering to me more and more. And I've always been this type of person that has always been surrounded by people. And I felt like God just took me one side, and He was just like, let me just show you who I truly am. And in this weekend specifically, when we went on this camp, He showed up in so many ways. And specifically something that happened, like I was saying, I was praying, and Yusuf and I were praying and trusting God for big breakthrough, and we fasted and we prayed, and we God came through for us with a very amazing, um wow. I actually get so emotional when I think about it, because He showed up in an area that we trusted Him for. He literally allowed us to get a business contract that changed our business, and it turned everything around in our business realm. And He brought me to a place where He just made me understand, and just made me realize that he is my he's my bestie, if you know what I mean. Like, He just made me realize that I don't need people. I don't need people to validate who I am, and I don't need a circle to validate that I'm worthy. Um, and and yes, it's the most beautiful thing to be married and know that your husband is your best friend. Um, but God just got me to that place where He had to show up and tell me, and show it to me. And I remember the one evening I was so torn apart, and I was crying, and He was just like literally saying to me, it's gonna be okay. And I remember after that revelation, that it's gonna be okay, I remember just knowing it's gonna be okay. And so weeks later, the opportunity then came to apply for this business contract. But how it came is that even though it's always been a vision and it's been part of my dream, he um he he just accelerated the process, and when he accelerated the process, he did such an amazing thing, because before we knew it, he just, every single thing that he did, he literally just, every single thing in our business literally turned around. It just turned around, and we just saw his hand in every single thing that happened. And then it came to the point where, on Friday evening, we just had like worship time on the camp, and I just knew that something was going to happen this weekend. And so on Saturday, we were in a situation where, the speaker that came, or the pastor that came, he had the most powerful word, and and what he said was just like, it witnessed so much with my spirit. And the one thing that I feel like that was the final confirmation for me was the morning we had the morning we had a deliverance, not a deliverance, but we had a service, and the prophet came to me, and the prophet walked up to me, and the prophecy he gave was so in tune, like with what is happening around us and what was happening. And so what this weekend actually meant in actual fact is that, what I want to actually say, apart from everything that I've just rambled, what I want to say is that this weekend just made me realize that we find ourselves in situations, and we find ourselves where we are really just hurt, and we're broken, and we are just in a space where people has walked away, and we are in a space where you're about to give up on that dream, and you're in a space where you think you've just made it, and you think that that you it's finally here. And then, just like that, life changes for us. And I've just come to discover, this journey that I've walked with God since Feb this year. I've just come to discover that our Abba Daddy is a good father. I've come to realize that every single plan that he has for our life is, it's for our good. And even in those times where you feel like you are being torn apart, and your world is upside down, and there's chaos around you, feels like things are just too much for you, that's the times that God will come through for you. And by saying this, I just want to encourage you that whoever's listening or whoever's watching, I just want to encourage you and say that Jesus has your back. He knows exactly what you're going through, and he is gonna come through for you, even if it is on 99.9. He needs you to have faith, and he needs you to believe, and he needs you to stand on his word. And that is why when you read his word, you need to remind him that he said in his word. And I like to quote God. And you know what? One day during this phase that I was going through, or this turmoil season, God showed me something. And I opened the Bible, and I opened it where the king asked Esther to make a request known. And I remember that morning I was saying to the Lord that I was saying to him that he must give me a word to tell me that he's listening. And so when I opened the word, and I read that, make your request known, I was saying, thank you, Jesus. Thank you that you are listening to my request. Thank you that you have dispatched your angels, Father God. God dispatches his angels when you say a prayer, when you open your mouth and you trust him to move and to do big things. His angels are dispatched, at his command, to go deliver and put that dream into action. And so many things happened this weekend that I'm now just like, I'm just now speaking like top level. I'm not just speaking like, giving you like an overview. But I hope and pray that God will show up in your life, and God will turn things around, and he will just continue to answer those prayers that you have always been wondering whether He's listening. Even if it's 10 years or 5 years or 10 days or 5 minutes after your prayer, He listens and He will answer you and He will give you the desires of your heart. But I'm going to say bye now because I think I'll just go on and on and on. But be blessed and bye.